Welcome to the Inspire Collective podcast, where our goal is to inspire Christian men and women in the marketplace with all they need to positively influence those around them for God's kingdom. My name is Chris Bowen, and today we're tuning in to Scott Wilson's segment of the Inspire Activation Challenge, a 7-week challenge created to activate individuals in key areas of their life. In today's segment, Scott will break down how listeners can activate their influence positively on those around them. So let's get started. Scott Wilson is with us tonight. So Scott, it is an honor and a privilege to have you with us on the Inspire Activation Challenge. And we are looking forward, sir, to some great content tonight. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so pumped to be here, man. This is awesome, Chris.
Awesome. Well, we know that you have a lot that you're going to share with us, and we know you have a free offer that's going to come to those in just a few moments as well. So we're going to get right to it. Let me tell you all a little bit about Scott Wilson. He's the senior pastor of Oaks Church Ministry, approximately 4,000 people every week in South Dallas. He is a frequent conference speaker and provides mentorship for hundreds of pastors and churches and leaders. Isn't that something? That's what we need. We need some more of that leadership developing and training. With more than 20 years of experience in full-time pastoral ministry, and dozens of pastors and leaders have been strengthened to fulfill their destiny and dreams through Scott Wilson Consulting. The organization comes alongside churches and the marketplace with leaders to enable them to achieve their full potential of what God has called them to do. Because of Scott's desire to train the next generation, he created the Oak School of Leadership and specialized ministry training program, providing young leaders with hands-on experience while earning college credit. Now, don't we need that? Through this intense training program, hundreds of students have been educated, prepared for ministry, and sent out as ministry leaders. Scott has written several books, including the latest release, Spread the Fire, Spirit Baptism in Today's Culture, and Clear the Stage, Making Room for God. Scott's previous title includes The Next Level, A Message of Hope for Hard Times and Steering Through Chaos. Don't we all need that book? Mapping a Clear Direction in the Midst of Transition and Change. I wish I had that book a few years ago, Scott. I celebrate today 31 years of opening my church, and I retired 5 years ago and transitioned out, so I needed a copy of that book.
Wow. Yeah, man. Guess what? I just now transitioned as well, just this year. Wow. And so now we just brought in a son to one of my sons in the Lord to come back and to be the lead pastor, and just now moved from that senior pastor right into global pastor. So I'm following suit with you, man.
Well, that's exciting. Well, Scott, we're looking forward to a great teaching from you tonight. So you have our attention, you have our ears. So God bless and enjoy.
Absolutely, man. Thanks, Chris. It's so great to be on here with you guys. Excited to just share a little bit with you about my newest book. It's called Impact. And it's just talking about releasing the power of influence. And tonight I want to give this to everybody. I'm going to tell you in a minute how to get it. I want to give it to you for free, and really an incredible package of stuff I want to give to you even beyond that. And so just hang with me for a minute. I just want to talk to you a little bit about this book, Making Impact. I think if I ask you right now, if you want to make a big impact that's positive and that's good, I bet you're saying, absolutely, I want to do that. So how do I do it? All right, here's the byline: releasing the full impact. The power of influence is what you're doing, releasing the power of influence. So when we're talking about influence, what is that? Well, John Maxwell made that famous, didn't he? Leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less, you know? And, but then you got to kind of think about it. What does it mean to have influence? Well, I think it's about, like, don't you know some people who have influence, they can make the sell while other people can't. Some people can get the board to unite and move forward. And they're like, man, they're galvanized together to go forward on something, while other people, they just can't get anybody to agree on anything. You know, some people have the influence that they get up and cast vision and everybody's ready to storm the field of battle, you know, go for it, do whatever. But others are like going, okay, I've heard that before, you know, like this. I think the difference is those who have influence and those who don't, those who people buy into. And so what is this influence? So I've been thinking about this a lot, and that's why I wrote the book here, is because I wanted to define really and to kind of even codify what influence is, so that we can, if we examine it, maybe we can learn more of how to become more and more influent. And you say, well, why do I want to be more influent? Well, obviously you're probably not asking that. You know exactly why, because you want to be better in your business. You want to be better in your family. You want to be better in influencing your kids. You want to be better in influencing your neighbors and friends. And many times I want to influence people for good things. I want to influence things for God things, for the kingdom things. And I just want to be a better influence, a positive influence on the people around me. But how do I have it where people would listen to me or even care what I think and influence what they're thinking and what they're doing? Well, it comes down to 2 words. So I hope you have a pen and paper. If you don't, go grab it real quick or get your phone out and get ready to write this down. Come on, right now I'm about to tell you stuff. You've got to get this right now. It's 2 words. Both of them start with an R. Here they are: respect and relationship. Influence is just those 2 things: respect and relationship. So let's just talk about it for a minute. Anybody that you look to as a leader, that they influence your life, it's because you respect them. Okay. And it's because you like them. You have a relationship with them. Now, this is like 2 wings of a plane. If you're up in the air and you're in a big, 30,000 feet up in the air in a plane, and somebody said, which one of the wings do you want to lose? You'd go, neither. Okay. I got to have both. You're right. Because without one of the wings, either one, you're going to crash. Same thing in your leadership. Same thing with your influence. You may say, well, I got respect of the people, but it doesn't really matter if they don't like me. Yeah, it does. Well, everybody likes me. Yeah, but they don't respect you. Let me put it this way. If people respect you, but they don't like you, you know what they'll do? They'll stick with you for a minute, kind of like a general. Yes, sir. Until they find somebody who they do like and respect, and they know that person likes them. On the flip side is if you got somebody that you like or you have a relationship with, but you don't respect them, you'll be their friend, but you don't want to be your leader. They don't know what they're doing, And so if you think even on respect, what does that mean? Respect to me comes down to what I call the mechanic principle, these 2 words: character and competency. Like if I'm asking you, hey man, my car is jacked up, I need some help. Do you have a good mechanic? What am I asking you? I'm asking you, do you know somebody who actually knows what they're doing under the hood of the car to fix it? And number 2, do you know somebody who's not going to cheat me and tell me I got to fix, my transition when it doesn't really need to be fixed? That's somebody I can respect, character and competency. And guess what? The same thing we're asking about a mechanic, everybody's asking about you. Your leadership. They're asking, can they trust you with your heart? Do you really have the best heart for them? The best motive for them? You're looking out for them? Are you leading them in a direction that's good for them? And that's character and competency. Do you actually know how to get there? And do you know how to get them there safe and good and do things efficiently and effectively? Do you know what you're doing? That's respect. But then relationship is key in that in relationship, it's all about spending time. How do you have a relationship with somebody you don't spend time with? So you got to spend time with people, but there's a second word: trust. So it's time and trust. The reason why I say that is there's some people I thought, man, if I just could spend some more time with them, we could really build a relationship, until I spent time with them. And I'm going, I spent more time with them. I don't want to have a relationship with them. I don't trust them. I trust them less the more I'm with them. And so you got to have time and trust. So you got respect, relationship. You got respect as character and competency. And your relationship is time and trust. I started thinking about these things and thinking about, there's good news to this and there's bad news for those of us who are leaders. So if you're a leader here, whether that is a leader in your home, a leader in with other people, in your workplace, or a leader in your church or in the community, you're leading people and you want to expand your influence. You want to release this power of influence in your life. It's going to be because people respect you and have a relationship with you. But as I'm thinking about this, there's good news and bad news. Good news is, guess what? Relationships aren't static. They can be built. Isn't that right? We even say, hey, yeah, man, I want to build a relationship with that guy. That's how we describe it. We want to build a relationship. So it's not static, it's dynamic. That means you're not stuck. Anybody you say with right now, I just don't have a good relationship with them. I just hate it because I'm just cursed with a bad relationship. Guess what? That relationship can change. Your relationships that are good can go bad, and your relationships that are bad can go good, because you have the ability to build them or not. And the same thing with respect. It has to be earned. Good news is it's not like somebody who doesn't respect you. Guess what? It doesn't have to stay that way. You could do some things that cause them to respect you. In the same way, if they respect you now, there's some mistakes you could make and some bonehead decisions you make that could cause you to lose it. Doesn't this make sense? So the good news is you're not stuck You can build relationship and you can earn respect. The bad news is this, not only that you could lose it, but it isn't going to happen just automatically. It isn't like you just wake up tomorrow and now, wow, your relationships are stronger and people respect you more. It takes intentionality. I like the concept that John Maxwell talks about, like everything worthwhile is uphill. And he'll go like this. I've seen him do it. Everything worthwhile is uphill. But he says, you're not going to get uphill with downhill habits. Isn't that powerful? In the same way, what I'm saying to you is you can build relationship with people. You can earn respect of people, but it isn't going to just be because you spend more time with them. It's going to be because they learn to trust you more in your heart and they like you. Man, I like that guy. I think he really cares about me. I think he really, or she really thinks highly of me. I like that guy. I like that lady. Respect, man, gosh, I can tell they're really working at this hard. They know what they're doing. They're brilliant. Aren't they brilliant? See that? That can be earned and that can be built. Doesn't just happen. It takes intentionality. That's why I wrote this book. You know why? I got to be honest with you. My wife, Jenny, is unbelievable in relating with people. I'm not that good. Now, you guys, some people who know me, they'll go, no, are you kidding? That's stupid. You're belittling yourself. You're so good at it. You know what? I am good at it now. I'm just not gifted at it. You know what my good is that I've learned how in my heart, I want to love people, care for people. I want to connect with people. My heart is that way. But I don't think like my wife does, that just automatically connects with everybody and is able to do that. She's just built that way, gifted that way. I have to create systems to serve my heart to help me to do it. So you know what's good about that? Like if you know somebody who's incredibly gifted, let me just tell you, Lozano, don't you know this? People who are like killer gifted, you know what? You can ask them, how do you do that? And they'll go, I don't know. I just do it. They're so gifted. They don't even know how they did it. They just do it. That's not me. I do it. And I know exactly how I do it because I had a plan. I had to be intentional about getting a system to do it. So in the book, what I did is I said, you know what? I want to help people that are like me, who may not be the most gifted at leadership or influence, and help them to get systems of how, 5 ways I'm going to tell you in the book, how to grow and earn respect. And 5 ways of how to grow or build relationship. So I want to tell you, if you want to get the book right now, you can. And I'm going to tell you how, and then I'll tell you again at the end. ScottWilsonLeaders.com. So ScottWilsonLeaders.com. If you go there, you can get the book. And there's also a masterclass. I'm going to give it to you free. You can get it for free. All you got to do is you get it free. You just pay for the shipping, $6.99, and do that. But listen, there's a masterclass that goes with it of everything I'm talking about in every single chapter to help you take that next step, to help you take that next leadership move in what you're doing. So if you're a pastor right now, go to ScottWilsonLeaders.com. If you're a business leader, or you are a stay-home mom or somebody in the community that you want to just grow in your influence, I've made a special video masterclass for you at ScottWilsonImpact.com. So if you're a pastor, go to Scott Wilson Leaders. That's for you. If you're a business person, go to ScottWilsonImpact.com, and it's there. And guess what I want to give you? I want to also give you Ready, Set, Grow University, which is our new platform with master classes of helping you to grow in all these areas. You're going to get that for free there, 30-day subscription. But you know what I thought? I thought because I can't go into the whole thing tonight, I would just pick one of the ways to grow in respect and one of the ways to build relationship and share that with you. So you ready? I just picked one that I thought would be cool tonight. Let's go with the first one on respect. Here's something that I've learned about this. If you want to earn respect of somebody, that you've got to meet and exceed their expectation. Meet and exceed expectation. I'll tell you what, I just came to my mind. It's not in the book. I'm just thinking about it right now. I was 19 years old and I was asked to speak at a graduation of a high school here in town, the baccalaureate. I was a youth pastor. I was 19 years old, and the guy at our church, he was one of the teachers there. And it was interesting because they had a speaker, but he couldn't show up like 3 days before. So they're going, what are we going to do? We don't have a baccalaureate speaker. And that guy goes, well, I'll just ask our youth pastor. He says, well, is he any good? I don't know. He seems to be good. Well, tell me about it. He's 19, but he seems pretty sharp and all this. He goes, oh my gosh, I don't know what else to do. Just get him. But can you please tell him he can only speak for 15 minutes? He can only speak for 15 minutes. So they came and told me that. And then I got a letter saying, please speak for 15 minutes. Then I got an email, please speak for 15 minutes. I mean, it was just emphasized over and over. So you know what I did? I put together the best talk I could put together. And I timed it over and over and over and over to make sure I was at 15 minutes. When I got there, the principal walked up and he said, such an honor to have you. I don't know if everybody's told you, but we're so glad you're here, but please just keep your comments to 15 minutes. I mean, like that was him. You know what he was thinking? He was going, this guy, I don't think is going to be any good. So if we can just make it short, it'll at least be just a little bit of bad, So I got up. Listen to what happened. It's so crazy because I just was new to the community, everything. I got up and spoke, 19 years old. How much expectation do you think anybody had about me? None. They were going like, oh my gosh, this is going to be horrible. But guess what? I had worked hard to put together a great talk. I shared that talk. Guess what happened? 15 minutes in, I'm done. Right when I landed, it went standing ovation crazy. And then I went and sat down. The principal looked at me. First thing he said is, why did you stop? That was crazy good. Like this, I said, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. But you know what happened? I wasn't that good. It's just their expectations were so low, I blew it away. So here's the thing with you. You may have a company you just started, or you may be in a church that's a startup or just a beginning organization that you lead. Guess what? Good news. Expectations are low. It's easier for you to wow them because you can just do great things and they go, whoa, I didn't see that coming. But here's where frustration comes in. In fact, let me just ask you something right now. If you're frustrated with somebody, I don't know what the situation is, but you know what I can tell you? Exactly why you're frustrated with them. You say, how do you know? You don't know where I'm in South Africa. I'm in Fiji. I'm in South America. You can't tell me I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. You can't tell me my deal. You don't know me. I can tell you this. It's because you have an expectation of them that's here. And there's a reality of what you're doing. Watch this. That's down here. You have an expectation up here and a reality down here, and the distance between the two, guess what that's called? Frustration. I remember the first time I really understood this principle is when I told my wife, Jenny, I was going to be home at 6 and I was leaving the office. And when I was leaving the office as a pastor at the church, sometimes this happens. I'm walking out to the car and somebody says, Pastor, can I just have a minute? Just a minute of your time. And so I'm talking to them. They need me to pray for them. I need to, something like this. And so I'm trying to do my best to get to the car and do that. And then all of a sudden, right when I'm about to get in the car, they call me and say, hey, we need you to get back in here and sign something in the office. I go back and do that. And then I'm getting back to the car. Somebody else says all this. Well, guess what? This is real. This isn't a joke. I ain't telling like an imaginary story. This really happened. I get home at 7 o'clock. You know what happens? My wife's already finished the whole dinner. It's already over. The kids are already up from the table. It's in Tupperware. And she looks at me and she goes, oh my gosh, do you see what time it is? We got to get to soccer practice. You take that kid. I'll take that kid. Your food is already in the fridge and you have to get it when you get home. Because my gosh, it's 7 o'clock. You said you'd be home at 6. I said, I know, sweetie, I know. But I was doing God's work. I'm trying to make it to you. I was doing my best. I was trying to get, what happens. And she goes, you know what you could have done, don't you? You could have at least. I bet one of you right now just said called, because it's probably happened to you too, hasn't it? She says, you could have at least called and managed my expectations. See, the whole key to not having people frustrated with you is closing that gap between expectation and reality. You either got to get reality up to what they're expecting, or you got to get the expectation down to reality. You got to close the gap. I really was glad I learned that with my wife that day, even though she was pretty ticked, because I remember my very first board meeting. First board meeting with our church board. I'd been at the church for 14 years. My dad was the pastor before me. At this time, it was about 650 people and a board of 9. I had been the youth pastor, been there since I was 19. And so some of them, they had seen me basically grow up, And so I came in as the lead pastor, and I thought to myself, man, I better make sure we're using the same scorecard. Come on. Have you ever been at a workplace, or you had the people you're working with and they think they're winning, you think they're losing, and you're like, man, what scorecard are you on? We need to get on the same scorecard. So you know what I did? I walked in to the board meeting and I handed everybody 3x5 cards. Yep. And I said, why don't you take a pen right now? And I know whether we have an official evaluation in a year or so or an unofficial, you're going to be thinking in your mind, I'm glad we hired this guy, or God, we blew it on that one. Right. And you know what I think would be fair and would be smart? How about we always all get on the same page of how we're keeping score? I want to know what you're expecting of me so that I can meet that, so we can do that. And so I asked them all to take that 3x5 and write it down. And you know what? When they handed it to the secretary, and the secretary of the board went up to the board and wrote it down, they had like 39 different things on the board. It just filled up the whole whiteboard, and everybody started laughing. I said, that ain't funny. That ain't funny at all. There ain't no way a man can do that. They said, we know, Pastor Ed, but you know, that's just what are we going to do? And I said, well, let's go through them. I said, what about this one here? It says, I need to do all the hospital calls and visit everybody in the home when they're sick. I said, now, do we need to take care of sick people? Yes. But are you saying I need to do every one of those? No. I said, well, then let's erase that, because we're talking about how I will be evaluated. Hey, it says we need to have some good teaching on the Bible on Wednesday nights. Are you saying I need to do that, or just somebody needs to be teaching the Bible? No. Okay. Let's mark that off. And it just went like that over and over again. 32 different things we were able to take off that board till it came down to 4. You know what they said? They said, I think we cannot delegate to anybody else being the visionary leader. Let me tell you something. If you're not the visionary, you're not the leader. Okay. If you don't have the vision, you're not the leader. So I go, absolutely, hold me accountable to that. Vision, casting the vision. Number 2, staff. The staff of the church, the hiring, the firing, the development. Come on. If you're the boss, if you're the leader, the CEO, you're responsible for that staff. They are a representation of you. So I said, I can't delegate that. Absolutely. We got to do that. Number 3, they said finances. Now that didn't mean I had to count the money or, make the deposit. It just meant that I was in charge of making sure that we got enough money in and we didn't spend more and more money going out than what was coming in. Makes sense, right? I said, absolutely. I'm in charge of that. And the 4th thing they said, and this one, they said, we'd like you to show up most Sundays and preach. I said, well, I guess I'll try to do that. So those are the 4 things that I was held responsible for. And thank God we did that. Can you even imagine me trying to do 39 different things that I didn't even know they thought I was supposed to do? And all the time, everybody's upset and they're all frustrated because I'm not meeting their expectations. Man, I was glad I got those 4 things on the board, because guess what I could do now? I knew exactly clear understanding them and me, what the expectation was. Now I could not only meet it, I could find ways to exceed it. When you have expectation here and reality here, that's frustration. The bigger the difference between that is, the bigger the frustration. If you can switch it though, and you can get reality here, and what they were expecting was here, like when I was 19 and I got up and spoke and it wasn't that great, but it was a lot better than they thought. That's where you have this thing called wow. The distance there is wow. So I'll tell you what I mean. In your business, you need to know this. People have an expectation of your business. People have an expectation of what you do in your service business, and what you're doing in your flower shop, or in your bakery, or in your bank, or in your real estate office. Let me tell you something. In the church, I know one thing in our size of church, that people are coming in and they got an expectation that we should have a clean bathroom. Can you believe that? Just, we want to have a clean bathroom. Well, of course. They want to make sure if people are singing on the stage, they can actually carry a tune. I understand that. They'd like to know that we're going to get out maybe an hour and 15, hour and a half or something like that, no later. There's some expectations coming to the church, but one of them is clean bathroom. Here's what I know is, if the expectation is a clean bathroom, smells good, and it's all cleaned up and everything like that, and they come in and it's clean, guess what? I don't earn their respect. It just meets the expectation. Well, it should have been clean. Get it? I didn't get respect that way. I just didn't lose it. But when they come in, I want to earn their respect in that. So you know what we do? We have a little station in both the women's bathroom and the men's bathroom. I just don't go to the women's bathroom, so I'm not sure exactly everything on their shelves, but I'll tell you, on the men's shelves, you know what we got? We got cologne. We got mouthwash. Yep, we do. We got stuff for your hair, hairspray, comb, all kinds of stuff like that in there. We got shoe polish and shoe shiners. And guess what? Mother's Day a couple of weeks ago, guess what we had in there? Mother's Day cards with a little note that said, in case you forgot. Oh, those men were in there going, oh my gosh, it's Mother's Day. Oh man. And they're putting those cards in there and they're going, oh, thank God for this church. I love this church. You know, they're going, wow, they thought of that for me. You see what I'm saying? That was a wow, because they had no expectation they were going to go to the bathroom and find a card that they needed. So here's the thing I'm saying. You want to earn respect? First of all, you need to clarify with the team and the people you're wanting to earn respect with what the expectation is. Because if you're not meeting it, you're losing respect. You're losing ground. But when you know what it is and they know what it is, not only can you meet it, but guess what you can start trying to do? Exceed it. What are some ways to exceed expectation? In the book, I write these 3 ways. Number 1, you can deliver more. Write this down. Deliver more than what was expected. So this may be like, hey, you know, we're expecting this kind of increase in the 3rd quarter, but you have more. You know, that's wow. That's when everybody goes, wow, look, that's a lot more than we thought. What's more than we thought? That's than we expected. Another way is doing things better than expected. It may be, hey, not only did we hire new staff, but these guys are like at a whole other place, you know, or, you know, not only did we fix this issue, but, you know, we really took it to another level and we got this whole other thing. Whatever it is, you did it better. The 3rd is you did it faster. Like when we got in our new building, that was an $18 million project, and we got in, listen to this, we got in a month early. Are you kidding me? We've done 5 building campaigns. I've built, so and to get in a month early was like nuts. And then to come in where we were $500,000 under budget, that's when everybody said, wow, because who expects that? Not me, you know? And so that's how you earn respect, is whatever you're doing. You're not just trying to meet expectation, do what's expected, do it, and then some. That's how you get the wow. And that's how you earn respect. I think that's a pretty cool way of thinking and understanding. That's in your marriage. That's with people and your friends. That's what, by the way, you said, well, how's that work in your marriage? Well, instead of getting home at 7 when I told her at 6, if I got home at 5:45 and I had flowers and chocolates and I said, let's go out tonight, I'm taking you on a date and I got a babysitter. What's that called? All the ladies said, wow. Exactly. Because it's more than what was expected. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about earning respect. I've got not only that one in there, meet and exceed respect, but I got 4 others like that in there to help you. How to develop a growth plan and a growth team for your life. You know, how to lead leaders and not get them out of, you know, not have them out of the loop, but get them in the loop with cascading communication. 5 of them in there that are going to help you. But before we go, I just want to share one more with you, and that's on how to build relationship. Now, there's so many ones I could say in here. In fact, I was thinking, man, these are fun to talk about. One of them would be, you got to speak their language. You got to know what's their heartbeat. Another one may be, you got to value what they value, which is their family. There's 10X moments. 10X moments is like just everyday moments, but there's those big moments that if you're there, they'll never forget it. And that isn't just be there like at a wedding or at a funeral, but you can even create as a business owner 10X moments for your customers and for your people and your staff. That builds close relationship. It's like going to camp. If you ever went to camp and you come back and you have, because y'all had that intense moment, or you went on a trip together, on a vacation together, and you just had those moments you never forget, that's a 10X moment. And when you create those moments with a team, it's big. But here's the one I want to talk about. It's listening. Listen closely. Write this down. Listen closely and remember what people say. You want to build relationship with people? Be a listener. Be a listener and don't just listen. Remember. You know what my wife does almost every time we go to somebody's house? She's going like this. Now, what are their kids' names? And how long have they been married? And what's who's this person's parent, the grandparents and all this, and what sport are they into? I mean, she's just going through all of this stuff, and I'm going, how do you know these things? She says, they've been our friends for 10 years. To her, it's just natural. She knows all this stuff and remembers it all. To me, I'm going, I love them and everything, but I don't know all their kids' names. I got like 4 of them, and so I have to create systems And I hate this. I think I love as much as she does, but she may just love people more. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I want to love them more. And so I have to create systems to listen and to remember. If you listen to people, it shows that you value them. When you remember it, they go, oh my gosh, he must really think I'm awesome to remember that. And I'll tell you what, that's in my heart, but it doesn't come natural to me. I don't know about you, but sometimes I've tried to be so impressive when I'm with people. In business, doesn't it feel like you got to be a salesman all the time, and you got to sell, and you got to make the sell, and you got to close the deal, and you got to, if I don't tell them about the deal, if I don't tell them about the sell, if I don't get it to close, man, I got to tell my thing. I got to go through my points. I got to show my presentation, you know, and yet sometimes what happens is we come off as pushy, not relational, not caring about them, not caring, like with no strings attached. It's all strings attached, it's all wrapped up in strings, you know. I messed up on this. I remember one time I was going to get to meet a lady. I was a pastor of young people, and we had about 300 people in our youth group, and that was pretty big, you know, especially when I was in my young 20s. But there was this youth pastor who had over 1,000. I just said, man, I want to go meet her. Her name's Jeannie Mayo. I want to go meet Jeannie Mayo. And, you know, I got a chance to do it. And when I went, you know what I thought to myself? I'm so young. She's not going to think very much of me. She's going to think I'm just a guy over here who's got 10 kids and a youth group and all that. So I need to put a list of all the things we've been doing so I can impress her with all of our small groups, impress her with all of our outreaches, impress her of our follow-up, impress her of what we're doing in schools, how we're discipling people. I just had all this stuff. And I was going through, hey, I want to tell you about what we're doing here. What do you think about that? Let me tell you about it. And she was just so kind. Oh, Scott, that's wonderful. Oh, Scott, that's wonderful. About an hour went by. And she just hugged me and said, I'm so proud of you and everything you're doing. You're so sharp. And I walked away and I realized I just wasted a whole hour trying to impress somebody that's 3 to 4 times bigger than anything that I'm doing. How could anything that I'm doing be impressive to her? And possibly I just missed one of the most important meetings I could have had in my young ministry, to be able to learn from somebody. And you know what I find is that when I'm asking questions of smart people, and I ask good questions, and I listen and I take notes, they're pretty impressed. More impressed than me trying to teach them something, which makes me look like, are you kidding? I kind of know what you're talking about. I kind of do 10 times more of what you do, you know? And so you're missing an opportunity to ask me things I don't understand. And yet I run into this all the time. It really just shows an insecure leader. The best thing you can do to make relationship strong with people is ask them questions that you're genuinely wanting to listen and hear, so you can hear about them. What's in their heart? What do they care about? What do they get excited about? What do they cry about? What hurts them? What excites them? What are their dreams? What is their passion? What do they love to do? What do they feel compelled to do? Come on, man, this stuff, you're getting to the core of their being to know how to influence, because you know where they're wanting to go. And listen, I'm listening to people, and I want to hear everything they have to say so I can know how I can help them achieve. Because listen, a great leader isn't thinking about using everyone to accomplish their vision. They're thinking about, I want to hear your vision so I can help you achieve it. And in me helping you achieve what you're called to do and what you want to do, I think together we can achieve more. That's how you think. Now, I didn't think that way in the beginning. I thought, man, I need to tell everybody my sales pitch, get everybody on my page, and all this. But now I go, golly, that's the dumbest thing I could do. I need to listen. You know how many times I come home to my house? And again, I just want to tell you about my wife, Jenny. She's so awesome. I come home and I'm telling you, I know this sounds weird, but let me say the whole thing, okay? There's men in my house all the time when I get home that I don't know. And you go, oh my gosh, what do you think? I thought you were a pastor. What kind of wife do you have? Well, they're plumbers. They're electricians. They're fixing. Today, there was somebody who came by to fix, you know, the air conditioning. But, you know, when I walk in, I find happening half the time is those people, those men, those ladies that are there working, you know what they're doing? They have their phones out and they're showing my wife pictures pictures of their kids, of their dogs, of their wife, of their husband. I mean, they're showing her all these, and she's going, oh, really? Now, how are they doing? There'll be people walk in, she knows that workman by name and will say, how's your wife? How did the surgery go? How was your son's soccer game? I'm going, my God, how do you do? And you know what? We go to counseling. Okay. That's one of the things I do. I go to counseling every other week for 2 hours for the last 20 plus years. Jenny and I go, we usually go the first hour, me and her. And then I say the second hour to ask him, kind of help me to know the stuff I was missing in the first hour. Tell me what she was saying. I'm not sure, like this. Okay. I need a little bit more help. But I went to the counselor. I said, you know what? Sometimes I can't get all these people out of our house. I'm so worn out. I want them out. I want to watch my TV or just read a book or just be quiet, something. But man, she's over there. It's like she's got a sign on her head that says, I really care. Talk to me, and he goes, God, that's sad. I said, I know. I wish they'd just get out of the house. He said, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how sad it is that 90% of the people in the world don't even have one person in their life who care enough about them to listen. And so they come to your house to work and they stay 30 minutes longer just because Jenny says, hey, how are you doing? And doesn't walk away. And they give a double take and go, wow, she really cares. And then when she remembers it, it's just like, gosh, I don't have anybody who listens to me like this. And Jenny looked at me and she goes, so how you feeling now, Mr. Preacher? And so I just am asking you right now, are you a person who listens well? If not, you need to get some strategy, some systems to do it. So can I give you mine? I'm going to give you mine. So when I eat with somebody and I want to get connected with them, I ask them questions. And when I'm listening to them, sometimes I'll go, oh my gosh, I got to write that down. That's amazing. Like, tell me, I'm going to write that down because that's Thursday. I'm going to pray for that, and I'll write it. And what I'm writing down is I go to their phone number like this. Okay. I go to where their name is, and I'll just write that in. I'll push edit and then write it in underneath the little line that's there, or there's a little info line there as well. And I'll write that in. So you know why? So that when they call me on the phone and their name comes up, guess what comes up? Their wife's name, their kid's name, and the last little thing I wanted to remember from our last conversation. So that when it rings, I go, oh, okay, let me remember this. Okay. That's the name. That's the name. This is what we talked about last time. And I get on there. What's up, man? How you doing? And they're talking. I'll go, how's your wife? Call her by name. How's it going? Hey, I remember last time we were together, y'all were going on that vacation. How did it go? Huh? Wow, man, that's awesome. How's your son doing with his baseball? Like that. You know what happens? They're going like, how in the world do you remember all this? You know what they're thinking in their head? Why does he care so much? How does he must think I'm important. He must think I'm really something that's, the only reason you listen and remember that stuff is that you really care about somebody. Let me tell you something. Some of you right now going like, well, man, you tricked them. You don't really care. You just wrote it in your phone. Really? I wouldn't have written it in my phone if I didn't care. Let me tell you something. This isn't tools I'm giving you to manipulate, because there aren't such a thing as tools that are manipulative. You know what are manipulative? Hearts, not tools. So these tools help serve my heart that I want to remember these things, but I'm not as good as Jenny that can just remember everything. I have to put it in my phone. Can I tell you how disappointed I am when my phone rings and somebody's name comes up? And so if their name is in my phone, what does that mean? I should know who they are. But there's sometimes a phone call, I go, oh my gosh, who is that? Who is that? I know I'm supposed to know their name's in here, but I don't know who it is. And you know how many times I want to encourage that person, whoever it is, I want to encourage them, build them up, get a stronger relationship, build respect with them. But because I don't remember who they are, it's not a cool thing. I just have to go, hello, and try to wing it, or let it go to voicemail and try to figure out on there who it is. But man, when I'm armed with that information on there, golly, I can answer that phone with confidence. In fact, how many times have you gone like, hey, how's your wife? But you're going, God, what's her name? What's her name? Is it Kara or Karen? Kara or Karen? And you're thinking in your head. And the whole time you want to relate better, but you can't because you don't remember. Golly, that has helped me so much to be able to do what my heart wants to do. And that is to listen and to remember, to care for people. I don't know what the goals of your life are, but if it is to influence people, It's going to be because you're earning respect, because you really are a person of character, and you really are a person of competency, and you know what you're doing. And it's going to be because you want to build relationship with people because you really care about them, not because you want to use them. That was a problem with me. Sometimes I thought of people as machinery to accomplish my vision, to build my organization, instead of realizing they are the vision themselves for me to build them. If you're going to influence, it's going to be because you care about people with no strings attached. You can be trusted when you spend time with them. Now, let me just close with a story that hit me. And I'm a person of faith, obviously, because I've been a pastor my whole life until just this last year, right? Several years ago, I was at a conference and the guy speaking, he made a challenge to everybody. He said, hey, why don't you write down on a piece of paper the attributes that you want people to say when somebody says your name? So if somebody goes over to somebody, hey, you know Scott Wilson? Yeah, I know Scott Wilson. What do you think about him? What do you think about Scott? And then what do you want them to say? And their basic premise of what they were saying is, if you determine what you want them to say, then you can choose to live those characteristics or those attributes out in your life as values. And that's what they're going to say, because that's who you are. So I remember getting a piece of paper out and I started writing down things. And I'm just going to tell you, this isn't necessarily what people say about me. This is what I wanted them to say, right? You understand? So I got that piece of paper out and I wrote down dynamic, great speaker, strong leader, wise, funny, I like him, or something like that. I got down 8 deep. And all of a sudden in my heart, I felt, and I don't know how to describe it any other way, like God was just kind of knocking or touching on my shoulder, like, hey, can I talk to you a minute? You know, that type of deal. I just felt in my heart, and not weird, like I hear his voice and stuff, but I'm saying like just like a tap. And I felt this thought come to my mind. I knew it was from God, and it was like this. Hey, son, you're 8 deep. You got 8 points of things you want people to say about you. And not one of them is love. You want to be dynamic. You want to be powerful. You want to be a leader. You want to be influential. You want them to think you're great. You want them to think you're funny, all this. What about love? And man, it hit me so hard, because the number one character or the number one value of heaven, the Bible says, is love. 1 Corinthians 13 says you can be a great speaker, but if you don't love, what does it matter? You can even have incredible gifts of leadership and the gifts of the Spirit, all this stuff. But if you don't have love, what does it matter? In fact, it's irritating to see God use your gift if it isn't motivated by love. You can give all your money. You can give to the poor. You can give your life. You can do all these, what he's basically saying, impressive stuff. But you won't make an impact unless you love. So I took my pen, I crossed out all the 8 things, and I just wrote love. And I made a commitment. The number one thing, in fact, it would be the only thing that would motivate my heart and that I want people to say. If they said leader, cool, but let it be number 2. If they said great writer, great, let it be 3, 4, 5. But I want it to be the number one by far anybody says is, God, that guy, he loves people. That guy loves, man. He is one of the most loving people I know. That's what I want him to say. So I live every day going, can I help you? Can I serve you? Can I build you up? What can I do? What can I give you? How can I help you? Because that's how Jesus is. By the way, you want to have a good business. Anybody out there, you want your business to grow? Anybody out there want to be great? Anybody out there want to be like at the top of your game when it comes to influence? Then remember what Jesus said. The greatest in the kingdom is the servant of all. You want to be great? Love people. You want to be great? Serve people. You want to be great? Care about people and helping them win. Because you listen to them and you know what they're aiming for. Help them win. You know what they're expecting, and you want to meet it and exceed it. Help them win. That's how you earn the respect, growing relationship. And in doing so, your leadership is going to fly. Let me pray for you. And then Chris will come back on. I want to tell you before I pray, go to scottwilsonimpact.com. If you're in business, you're a business leader, go there. You can get the book for free. Just pay for the shipping. Get the masterclass, because I break it down on how to do it in your boardroom, how to do it in sales, how to do it with your leaders, how to do it with business people around you. Get that. I'm telling you, it's going to help you. If you're a pastor, a ministry leader, go to scottwilsonleaders.com and you can get the book for free. Ready, Set, Grow University. You can get that subscription for free for 30 days. It's a platform of leadership that's great and will help you so much. Let me pray for you. And then Chris, come back on. God, I pray for all of these incredible people from all over the world. My gosh. Thank you for the honor and the privilege to spend this time with them. And I pray they have been encouraged. I pray that every single one of them would be marked by your hand and by your spirit on their life, that they would be people of love, people who care about people, that they value people the way you value them. And in doing so, they'd be able to make a great impact, because their influence would be huge, just like yours was. Let them be a love magnet, that people are drawn to them because they know, man, this person cares. This person's brilliant. This person, I can trust them. I just pray that upon every one of these leaders in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thanks, Chris.
Amen. Thank you so much, Scott. Wow, wow, wow. So much information tonight. And I think that our viewers can definitely feel the heart. And I've seen so many comments coming across now. Love above all. I've seen so many great love makes an impact. Love God, love people. People are hearing your message. And we really thank you, Scott, for that great message, because I think it's something we just need to hear. Sometimes we forget. And you've been advertising your book, and we want to make sure our viewers get this book. It's absolutely free, Impact, and you don't want to forget to get this. Make sure you get it, again, listed over in the chat box. If you didn't get it, again, remember, it's scottwilsonleaders.com. We'll make sure that you get a copy of this book, Impact, along with 30-day trial for Ready, Set, Grow University. Ready, Set, Grow University. So he's offering that to you totally free tonight. So why in the world would you not take advantage of that? Every week we're giving away something free, and those that come on to the Inspire Activation Challenge, they're here to inspire you and for you to activate, to actually take a hold of something and do something different. So Scott, what would be, and I know you gave us so many things. You talked about respect tonight. You talked about relationship. And of course, that famous quote come to my mind, that people don't care how much you know until they know, how much you care.
How much you care. Right.
Absolutely. So if there was one nugget, one nugget that they could really, that you really wanted to get out of your book, what would that nugget be tonight?
You know, that every one of us has the potential to be a person of influence.
Right.
And that I think sometimes people are going, man, I'm just not born that way. I'm an introvert, or I'm not a natural born leader, or I'm not outgoing. I'm not like you, this type of deal. And I just want everyone to know that no matter if you're an introvert or extrovert, you're outgoing and loud, or you're quiet and shy. You are a person of great value and great giftedness and great worth. God made you that way. And he meant for you to be a person of impact and of influence. And I think it's the story of stewardship, of kind of the whole deal about getting the bags of gold, or the talents of the parable. And hey, you got 1, you got 2, and you got 5. And the guy who got 5, he brought back 5 more. And he said, here's the 5 you entrusted. Here's 5 more. And he said, well done, good and faithful servant. Come on into your reward. And then the guys who got 2, he came back, he had 2 more. He said, here's the 2, here's 2. Well done. He got the exact same thing that the 5 guy got. So he said, hey, you got 2. That it wasn't like, well, why didn't you do what the 5 got? No, I gave you this. This is what you did with it. But the 1 guy went and hit it, probably because of insecurity and just feeling like, I don't have much to offer. I don't have much to do with this. So I'm just going to hold on to it. And the concern I have is that sometimes people say, I'm not a natural born, I'm not a 5 gift guy. I'm not a 2 gift guy. Listen, no matter what gift you have, God's not calling you to make something up or to come out of nothing, to take what he's given you and to use it in your sphere of influence to impact people for good and influence them for the kingdom, whether that's in your business, whether that's in government, whether that's in your neighborhood, whatever your work or place that you're at, that we would make a difference for good. And I think that's when we're going to get before God in heaven. He's going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. And I just want to help people do that.
Yes.
That's the whole deal.
Yeah. And so in this book tonight, make sure that you get a copy of this. Again, go to the website posted for you, scottwilsonleaders.com. In this, he'll teach you how to earn respect, find out what your value is. You don't even know what your value is. He'll explain that, as well as building relationships and so much more within this. And of course, the thing that I love most is if you desire to make an impact on others, you must love others the way that the Lord loves them and loves you. And so tonight was all about that love, the respect, the relationship, and all those are such key components tonight. And again, we want to give this book to you. We want to put it in your hands. He's also offering a free 30-day trial into Ready, Set, Grow University. We've got to be lifetime learners, folks. So make sure that you're signing up and you're getting this free material that all of our guests are here at the Inspire Activation Challenge is giving you. And so we just want to thank you again, Scott, for being on tonight. I know that you have impacted a lot of lives. I've been reading through the chat all the way through. People were taking notes. People were putting your points up. So thank you for continuing to impact. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. It was a joy to be with you. Thanks, Chris.
Oh, you're so welcome.
We hope this conversation with Scott Wilson has left you feeling both motivated and inspired. For more content, you can sign up for the Inspire Collective magazine and get your first-year subscription absolutely free. For more on this offer, visit us at inspirecollective.com. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next week for more of the Inspire Collective podcast.